G'day fellas, and welcome back to the channel. The Blues team did come out a couple of days ago, and I just kind of wanted to go over it, give you my thoughts and opinions on it. For a little bit of backstory, I am a Penrith Panthers fan and a very hardcore Blues fan. Pretty close to being 30 years old now, so I unfortunately got to see the Queensland dynasty. I had to sit there and watch Darren Lockyer and Jonathan Thurston dominate us for series after series. Then I went to JT and Cronk, I believe, for another 5 years. I had to endure the entire Slater saga, the entire Greg Inglis saga. Basically, I was alive in a really bad time for New South Wales Blues footy. Now, in recent history, the Blues have become pretty good. They've actually been able to compete, and they've been able to take some series away from the Queensland Maroons. Now, unfortunately, the Blues hired a guy called Brad Fittler. You might have heard of him. And ever since he got picked, every year, the quality of the team has started to decline, and a lot of bias has come in opposed to form. Quickly going to go through the Blues team now and basically dissect who I think needs to go, who I think can stay, so on and so forth. So the most glaring issue I see starts at the fullback position. Teddy gets picked again for Origin. Now in Origin 1, Teddy did have a lot of run meters. That's fine. I feel like with modern NRL though, you need your fullback first and foremost to be defensive. Yes, it's great if your fullback can join the spine, create plays, kind of like Latrell does, but mainly I'm a kind of guy who likes my fullback to be pure defensive, and then he can do whatever he wants on offense or attack to kind of complement the team. That's why I think that Dylan Edwards has been the best fullback in the NRL for 2 years now, this year and last year. Don't get it twisted, there's a lot of fantastic fullbacks, but at least from the Blues options, cannot tell me that Dylan Edwards is not the best fullback we can choose from. The guy pretty much averages 200 run meters a game, and the guy is probably the best defensive fullback in the NRL right now. Now, the biggest issue that Teddy had in game 1 wasn't necessarily his attack. His attack is always solid, but he pretty much was a part of 3 Queensland tries. I remember the first try when I believe it was Walsh or somebody was going to the right wing. Teddy was kind of just jogging in back play. And I remember talking to my mate at the time and saying, what was Teddy doing? He should be sprinting there to try and make a play on the ball. Dylan Edwards, I guarantee you, affects that play. He at least gets there and makes an attempt. Teddy didn't get there. Then I remember Teddy got out-jumped by his own teammate at the Roosters, Lindsay Collins. And then there was the hammer try right at the end where he just straight up got juked and Teddy had a little nap on the field. Now, I understand a lot of people say, well, if Nico Hines makes that tackle on Munster, that never happens. That's fine, but if there is a line break, it's the fullback's job to make a play. That's why he's the last line of defense. He didn't do it multiple times. Now, keep in mind, I'm not trying to shit on Teddy here. I think he's a phenomenal player, and he has served his country and New South Wales and his club really good for the last, however long he's been playing. But it's time for a change. Dylan Edwards needs the fullback spot. Reece Walsh is a much better fullback, way more in form than Teddy. Teddy's not even in form right now. The Roosters are not a good team right now. Now, I am a Panthers fan, so there's a little bit of bias, but I think To'o has been an amazing winger for us. No complaints here. The guy runs for 200 meters a game. Pretty much every State of Origin game, he's the run meters leader. Latrell at the other center, that's fine. No problems here. Latrell needs to be there if New South Wales has any chance of winning at all. When Latrell wants to play and he's not just kind of being invisible out there, Latrell is by far the best player in the NRL, and I will die on that hill. Tommy Turbo, this is an interesting one. Now, I know a lot of people love Turbo, and I understand it. The guy has been amazing for Manly and New South Wales, and maybe Australia, I'm not really sure, for a very long time. Turbo's had 2 good games this year. The first good game he had was before Origin 1. The week before it. The second good game he had was before Origin 2. Isn't it funny how that works? How you can just be injured for the first 8 weeks of the season, come back, basically do nothing, Manly get destroyed every second game, literally this year. Turbo is non-existent, not in form, is coming off a nagging injury that is probably still plaguing him, and then right before Origin has the game of his life. Me personally, I'm not a fan really of Turbo this year. Teddy and Turbo I would have taken out of the side completely, just kind of let them have a year to find themselves, help their club first and foremost. There's a lot of options for Turbo's replacement. I think this spot needs to go to Campbell Graham. The guy has been amazing this season. Probably the best center that New South Wales could choose from entirely. Not to mention that the Rabbitohs have a bye week this week, so it would have just worked out perfectly for Campbell Graham to be there. Just again, my 2 cents. Moving on, Addo-Carr, like the pick. There's not too many other options you can go at wing with New South Wales either. Addo-Carr is an easy pick for me. Number 6, Jerome Luai. Well, we'll do the halves in general. Luai and Moses. The one issue I have is that Brad Fittler forced this ideology down our throats where it was like, the 80 Raiders, you know, we need the halves combinations. We need to have two players who play Clubland together. And then Cleary gets injured and Luai still gets the number 6 spot. I don't understand the logic here at all. And then it turns out today, I actually saw an article this morning that inspired me to do this video. And I don't know if it was Fred Fittler. I should probably check before I say this, but it's somebody close to New South Wales. They said, and I quote, well, Jerome Luai made it to the World Cup final without Cleary. And I understand that. I get that. Luai's not a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player. The problem that I have with this pick isn't Jerome Luai himself. Like I said, we got force-fed this ideology that you need the halves pairing to be from the same club. Brad Fittler's really adamant on this Raiders thing. So if that's the case, when Cleary goes out with injury, why don't you have Cody Walker and Reno? They played together at the Rabbitohs for countless years. I feel like they played together for a decade almost. It felt that long. If you want to talk about halves combinations, it's Cody Walker and Reno. Another thing as well, it could have very easily been Cody Walker and Nico Hines. Now, I've been very adamant on Nico Hines being the blue starter. At the beginning of the year and pretty much right up to this Sharkies versus Storm game where the Sharkies got dominated, I said that New South Wales had their own version of Darren Lockyer and Jonathan Thurston, and that was Nico Hines and Nathan Cleary. There is no doubt about it that Nathan Cleary and Nico Hines together, if they had just been chosen years ago, yes, we might have lost some series. Yes, they might have had some bad games along the way, but 3, 4, 5 years down the line, that is your JT and Lockyer. Instead, Nico has been shafted time and time again. He finally got chosen for the Blues team and sat on the bench until the 70th minute. And the thing that annoys me is that people like to clown Nico for how bad he played those final 10 minutes. If you remember, he's the reason that Cameron Munster got through and Queensland won the game. That was their match-winning try. The people who say that that was Nico's fault have never, ever, ever, ever been on a football field or played any sport for that matter. When you are sitting on the sideline for 70 minutes and it's freezing cold outside, we're in winter time right now, so you're telling me that we're playing on an AFL field where it's a massive oval. Nico is almost in the center of the pitch because the NRL pitch is a lot thinner than an AFL pitch, obviously. Nico's sitting on the sideline for 70 minutes, freezing his ass off, wearing this big rain jacket. He gets on the field finally, his body's not warmed up, his legs are cold, his arms are cold. Everybody who's been out on the field for Queensland at this point, and New South Wales for that matter, is already warmed up. Their bodies are hot, they're sweating, and Nico's out there basically 5 degrees with hypothermia, mate. Do you know how hard it is to make a tackle when your body and your muscles are that cold? The impact of you hitting somebody hurts 3 to 4 times more. So when Cameron Munster stiff arms Nico Hines, that stiff arm is almost like getting hit by a car. That shit really, really hurts. I'm not surprised Nico didn't make that tackle. He needs to be out there for at least 30 minutes, 20 minutes to warm his body up, get him used to the climate. Anyway, that was another bit of a rant there, but me personally, I'm probably going Nico and pretty much any halfback. I don't think out of any of them you could really go wrong. I still think that Jerome Luai and Mitchell Moses are good enough to maybe get it done. We just need Luai and Moses to be on the same page. We need Luai to step up here. Regardless, so I'm pretty much done with the halves talk because it's just going to piss me off if I keep talking about it. Junior Barlow at number 8, that's fine. Cookie, that's fine because Api Coruscant has a broken jaw because of Tino. I don't think it was intentional, at least. I don't think he made the run thinking, hey, I'm going to break Appy's jaw. So it is what it is. It's another massive loss for us. It does open the door for Reece Robson, though, which I think is a fantastic inclusion. Payne Haas, obviously, yes, that's great. Tyson Frizzell did do well in Origin 1. I think there's a couple options we could have gone here. I think Frizzell's a good player. Hudson Young, this pick kind of confused me a little bit. I would have 100% given the start here to Liam Martin. I know he's coming off the concussion or whatever it is, but Liam Martin's a tough guy, and this is a classic example of Freddie not having enough faith in his players. So I understand that Liam Martin's coming off the bench because maybe there's some doubts about him if he's at 100% or whatever. That doesn't make any sense because if that's the case, why is Turbo starting? Why is Turbo starting if we're worried about Liam Martin and injury risks? I do like Hudson Young. I think he's a good player. I have nothing wrong with Hudson Young, the player. I just think that there are better options at the number 12. I'm starting Liam Martin here personally. He was the best Blues player in Origin 1 by far. I don't even think it was close. We need him out there from the jump. We're already starting 2 steps back. We're already playing at Suncorp We're already down 0-1. Isaiah Yeo, like the pick. He didn't play that well in Origin 1. He went a bit ghost, but Yeo is definitely one of the best 13s in the NRL. I feel like Yeo kind of pioneered, well, I guess the Panthers did, but Yeo kind of pioneered the whole number 13 at first receiver kind of thing. And that is a large reason why the Panthers have been so effective. Stefano Utoikamanu. This one is, I did watch Odd One, very good mate of mine. I was probably a bit hard on Stefano in my predictions video for this week. And Odd One was right. He does have a lot of potential. It is a bit of a finicky pick, a little bit of a tricky pick, but he does have a lot of potential. Is he Origin ready? I guess we'll find out. I personally don't think he's ready. This pick is really, really, really easy for me. If you want a big, dangerous runner off the bench, then there's only one man in the NRL who does that on a consistent weekly basis. Spencer Leniu. Spencer Leniu's been coming off the bench for the Panthers for a couple of years now, and he is such an injection. So even if the Panthers offense is struggling a bit, they're a little bit sloppy, they're playing a little bit slow, you throw Spencer Leniu in there and he is going to run over people, get the crowd involved, maybe even score a try or two, and while you're at it, it just seems like Freddie doesn't want to win. Like, genuinely speaking, the Teddy pick, the Turbo pick, the Luai pick, I'm not hating on Luai, I'm just saying that there are better options out there. Stefano pick, the Hudson Young pick. Basically, we're about 60% of the way there, but Queensland's at 100%. Their team is amazing. I absolutely love Queensland's team. There's not much you can change to make it better. In fact, I don't think there is anything you can change. Oh, one thing I want to point out, Corey Horsburgh. I love this pick for Queensland. Obviously, he's not in the starting side, but I absolutely love. He just seems like such a Queenslander. I'm obviously a hardcore New South Wales fan, but I love the Corey Horsburgh pick. I wish he was playing. I think he would be such an injection to Queensland. He'd be that dirty, grubby player that'd be starting fights, and it'd just be so good to see. He's such an Origin player. It's ridiculous. You take out Stefano, you take out Hudson Young, take out Luai. Could take out Mitchell Moses. I mean, yes, he did play well against the Doggies. It's the Doggies, though. Anybody who thought the Bulldogs were going to win that game or it was going to be close, maybe you thought Birdo's going to have a big game, but Parrish is too strong. The whole Teddy thing, though, Teddy needs to go. You could make this team very, very good. Give Nico a crack. Don't 20% it, Freddie. If you're going to give Nico a crack, give him a freaking crack, mate. Have him be out there for the 80 minutes. If he plays that bad, you don't choose him again. But I hate the mentality of putting him in the last 5 minutes and expecting him to do something. It's just so unfair. Get Teddy out of there. He couldn't catch a cold this year, mate. Turbo, I love him. I really, really, really do. But he's just not an Origin player this year. Oh yeah, I gotta mention the reserves as well. Crichton, that's fine. Kalaumatangi, love it. We need this guy to be in the interchange. I wouldn't even mind if Kalaumatangi replaced Stefano and put Stefano in the reserves. That seems a lot more intelligent, you know what I mean? My prediction for the Origin game this year is Queensland 13+. Prediction for this year also is Queensland 3-0. I don't know if it's because I want that to happen or whatever, but something needs to change internally, and it starts with the head coach. But anyway, that is my 2 cents. This is a New South Wales fan's reaction to the State of Origin 2 side for the Blues. If you like the video, let me know. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. We do predictions every single week. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, then you are the real MVP. Hope the rest of your day's awesome. And from me personally, I'm out. Peace.